Ladies and gentlemen of the marketing world, what is up? My name is Nick. I run a Facebook group called Conversational Marketing for Brands and an ads agency and chatbot agency called Mind Heroes, and you can find us at mindheroes.com. Now, today I have the pleasure of talking to Staffo Teenpunt, and I screw up his last name every single fucking time, so you're gonna have to excuse me. The dude is an expert at getting B2B companies to respond on LinkedIn, getting your message out in front of the right people so that you can spark some amazing conversations. Now, if you work for a bigger company, you probably like me and some of my friends who worked for bigger companies ignored it entirely until it was time to find a new job. That, my friends, is a mistake. So we're able to start, or rather, Staffo's going to teach us in this podcast how to spark conversations that lead to more business for your company, create personal relationships for yourself, partnerships with vendors and suppliers that you might not have been able to cement otherwise. So it's all about creating relationships that are an asset for you and for your company. So without further ado, let's jump in. Appreciate ya.
Hello, everybody. I'm Stuff Deepunt, aka Buff Harry Potter. People always say I look like Harry Potter, so I just went with it. I'm a social media strategist. I run a Facebook group called The Marketing Family. We have like 2,300 people. It's one of my favorite places on the internet. I'm also very active on LinkedIn. I've had about 2.5 million views in the last 6 months. And I run my own agency where we take other people's LinkedIn over and get them to reach similar results. And we also do some lead generation for them. And I'm also representing the two-lane full stack agency. And yeah, we basically provide everything that you would want provided for you. And I'm extremely happy to be here. And Nick has been very nice to me so far. So I'm happy.
Yeah, just wait, dude. No. So what's the name of your agency, Stefan?
Also, our agency is called the Marketing Family. And we have like this cool stamp because we're in Bulgaria, so you have to have a stamp. So this is the Marketing Family, and here you see some like Bulgarian gibberish that nobody understands.
Nice. So we'll put the link to that in the post. So anybody that wants to come join your group can be part of the marketing family, which is sweet.
Everybody's super welcome.
Nice. So today, just wanted to chat a little bit about content and how we can start creating our own to really attract B2B customers that we're looking for. Most of the people in here that you're going to be talking to are into chatbots and enterprise sales. So there's this thing, right? That like, how do you attract that specific target audience with content? Right. So everybody knows it's important. You should do content, but like to get some results. So I was hoping you could talk to us like your strategies around doing it and then attracting the right people.
Yeah. So first of all, you gotta. So I always like to start with like bare bones basics, right? So you gotta go where these people are. So I'm a social media strategist, so I'm not going to talk about SEO. I'm not going to talk about websites or all those stuffs, because then I would just be pretending to know what I'm talking about. But I'm going to talk about what I know about. So you got to go where these people are. And for a lot of people, I would say, if you're going to do B2B, those people are going to be on LinkedIn. So that's where you're going to want to go. And that's really like an important part of it, because I see a lot of people doing B2B on Instagram as well, or trying, or B2B on Facebook. And I think those are all extremely valid options, but at the same time, I think LinkedIn is the best one, because that's why people are there. They are there to make B2B connections and to do business. So if we're not talking yet about like how to create content and stuff, we're going to be talking about how to find these people. So if you're on like an enterprise level, well, you're going to have the budget most of the time to use Sales Navigator or to use these kind of tools. So one of the things that is important to realize is that if you're doing content, you need to get engagement on your content, because first of all, you're gonna look a little bit stupid if you don't, and second of all, like engagement is a good indicator that people care and that people are paying attention. So the way I like to do it is I like to attract two types of people. First of all, I like to put in my audience people that are just your exact ideal target customers. So of course you have your avatar, and if you go into Sales Navigator, you're going to be able to find people that match your avatar. Or even if you're just using LinkedIn search, you're going to want to connect with those people and send them a connection message. So a small part of your audience, of your connection base, are going to be hyper targeted people, and those are the people you're going to want to sell to. A lot of the time, sadly, those people are not people who are going to be engaging on your content because they're going to be busy. They have a lot of people wanting to have their attention. So at the same time, I'm also going to look for engagers. So where are you going to find those engagers?
Wait, so can I stop you for 1 second and ask? So basically what we're talking about maybe is my ideal customer is probably like a C-level person that's the decision maker, right? But they're probably not going to be the ones engaging with the content that we're creating. Is that is that kind of the gist of?
Well, what happens is only about 1 in 100 of people who see your content are engagers. So if people are logging in and you're doing a good job at creating your content and distributing it, then they will see your content appear in their timeline. But a lot of the times they're not engaging because a lot of the people who are engaging have a little bit more time, or a little bit more like trying to avoid work or something, or they're trying really hard to network. The C-level people, a lot of the time they might scroll fast to see what's going on, but they're not going to be writing all these in-depth comments. And you need those in order to get the content seen by other people. So that's why I always tell people to get these C-level people in your connection base, so they see your posts, but you can't count on them to grow your content. You can't count on them to get a lot of people to see your content, because people see your content based on how much engagement there is. That's why I'm always trying to connect with more engagers, people that engage on a regular basis, because their engagement is going to make sure that your posts get seen. But you don't have to just like add random people. So what you're going to do a lot of the time is you're going to find people within your niche that are posting content already and are having good engagement. And you're going to start engaging in their comment threads. You're going to make friends there, because you know those people are already commenting. You know those people are already liking. So maybe somebody has 100 comments, whatever. If you're going to talk to every one of those people, then you add them, you're building those relationships. You know these people are engagers. Those people are going to help you distribute your content over time. I know it sounds horrible.
No, definitely. It sounds like an interesting strategy that I hadn't thought about, actually. So basically, you start out by looking for other content that's doing well in your niche, and then trying to get the people who have commented on that into your network.
Yeah. So if we're gonna cut down to it, what I just said is about putting in your connection base people that engage as a majority, and then on the sidelines get the people that are your actual target customers, and then those two make it like they help each other. So the engagers help you pimp your content towards the actual target customer, if the route you're taking is going to be content.
So does it matter, do you think, who those engagers are exactly? Like, we have our C-level avatar, but the engagers, should they be connected, or does it not even matter?
The more connected they are, the better, because so let's say I write a really brilliant post and you engage on it. What's going to happen is my post is going to be shown to certain subsets of the people that are connected with you. So, and the more, like, let's say my target customer is some kind of CEO, and maybe he checks in LinkedIn once a week or whatever, and I have 10 connections in common with him, and 5 of those like my post. Because we're common connections, and such a big part of our common connections are engaging, the chances of him actually getting to see my content are super high. While if people that are totally unrelated to him see my posts, it will only it won't have the same amount of effect. Although you have to realize that if he's my first connection, then any engagement on my post will increase the chances of him seeing it. But having other people that are mutual connections as well engaged makes it even better.
Got it. So if we can do it, better to get as much connection to our target audience as possible, which makes sense, right?
Yeah.
So what would you think the first step is to, like, how do you go about finding that the content that has all that engagement? Like, you just search your feed? Is there a better way to do it?
Yeah. So you can actually search for posts about a certain topic. So let's say you do chatbots, you can actually just go, you don't even have to have Sales Navigator. You might need premium, I don't know, they change all the time. But if you just go and in your LinkedIn search box and you write chatbots, then you're going to have an option to click content or post or something later on. And then you're going to find posts about chatbots. You could also use a hashtags because actually hashtags are being used on LinkedIn now, which they weren't as much before. So just use the search function. Okay. Also look at you already know people in your own industry.
Yeah.
Everybody knows who the big players are. You just gotta go and look at their content and actually engage with all these people. And if they like their stuff, the chances are good they like your stuff as well. You're also trying to make better content than them, right?
Yeah. Hopefully, right? I mean, so by engage with them, like, you would comment back on that post, or you just try to get them directly in your audience?
Yeah, I'll remember their people and I'll talk to them and build relationships with them as much as I can. So I'll just respond to their comments and then I'll add them as this connection request to like further the conversation. And over time, and then maybe I'll go on their account, like a few of their posts. If I see they have a certain interest in something, I might send them my post, which I very rarely do. But another really big part of this is, like, you and I were both in like an engagement pod. Yep. It's all marketeers and growth hackers and like our crowd, right? So creating like a little bit of a group conversation with people within your industry or within your target industry will help you get that initial engagement. So let's say, so you do bots, and I'm just gonna make some shit up. Let's say you only sell bots to marketing. Nah, that's such a boring example. Let's say you only sell bots to fitness companies, which are actually underrepresented on LinkedIn. But whatever. So let's say if you sell to fitness companies and you find 10 people within the fitness niche, you put them in a group conversation with you, and you always share posts with each other, then your posts are going to be seen by a lot of people in the fitness niche because those people have fitness
connections with, yeah.
So you have to be a little bit clever about it. But having this group to engage with and to share your posts with is really motivating, because it's very hard to get the post going if you don't have that little bit of a guaranteed connection, if you don't have that little community, like it's fun to talk with your friends and engage with your friends and stuff. Sorry about the police.
What'd you do, Stavo?
Yeah, I don't know. So you make a pod, make a group conversation, make like a little micro community on LinkedIn that you can chat with, because otherwise it's going to be very long roads to the top if you don't have somebody to actually engage with you always.
Yeah, I thought, for me, like, I think that was like the first step almost, right? Because you can find these people, but if you don't have like that initial traction on your post, it's very hard for people to actually see that shit.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Okay, so targeted people, we kind of know we need to get some what was the term you used? Like, not some people that engage, but you used the particular.
No, I just say engagers.
Engagers. Like, okay. Yeah. So you got people you want, engagers. What do you do in terms of content? Like, who do you target? Because sometimes they're probably not the same thing, right? The stuff that engagers like and the stuff that the CEO likes.
Yeah, that's a good question. That's a really good question. So everybody knows like engagement posts, right? Like is this dress blue or gold, right? Or like, oh, who you think is gonna win the Super Bowl or whatever. You know those, or like, oh, shout out you're somebody who's helped you over the last year, whatever that kind of.
Yeah. So I'm not a fan of like the shitty, like surface level content that's
Yeah,
engagement bait.
yeah. So the advanced version of that is personal stories. When you're telling a story about something you learned, something that happened to you, something impressive you've done, whatever, just stories that are very entertaining and nice to read. That is kind of like the advanced version of it, because usually you're not really like teaching them anything super useful. So so you need engagement posts, but you need to make them tasteful and you need to make them good. So you create personal stories so people build the like, know, and trust factor, especially the like one, because they know your story, they know who you are, they know what you're about. This is what you're using to get engagement and to get seen, because you want these people to see your face on a regular basis, or at least see your name on a regular basis. So that's one part. But then the next part is you're gonna make actual useful content towards your main target avatar, right? So you write posts that make their life a little bit easier, that help them get a little bit better results, or something. But you also have to take into account the buying center, right? So let's say you want to sell a bot to a C-suite, I don't know how to pronounce it, C-suite?
C-suite, maybe? Is that
C-suite,
what
yes.
you're?
So you want to get, I'm sorry. So you want to get to these executives, but a lot of times they don't actually have so much hands-on with the marketing or whatever you're selling. So the people, they make the decisions, but they're not the ones who actually figure out that they need it. So if you can um, put your content in front of their marketing team, their head of marketing, their interns or whatever, they might actually be the one to convince the executive. So if you make useful content for them, it will also help you influence the end decision maker. So you have engagement posts on one side, just so that people get used to engaging with you, and that goodwill you're creating helps you get engagement on useful posts, and those useful posts are going to be showing people that you know what you're doing and going to help you make the sale at the end of the day.
So just to like summarize what I think you're saying, one first step would be like let's get some engagement around your profile and what you're doing, right? So
Get your
stories
name
are
out,
great. What's up?
so you get your name out there.
Okay. So personal stories, anything else we should think about doing for engagement posts? Or is that like the main?
Well, if your connection base is properly targeted, then you can also talk about your specific industries. So common problems, common misconceptions, that kind of stuff. Like there's one guy, Brett S. Brody, and he's one of the biggest people on LinkedIn. His audience is job seekers, and so he's always talking about like things going wrong in interviews, interviewers being assholes,
Okay.
like the guilt and the doubts that comes from not doing well in an interview, that kind of stuff. That's not really a personal story, but it's something relatable to your target
Yeah.
audience. So the better you know them, the more you have a conversation with these people, the more you can talk about things that are relevant to them, things that they feel they can relate to. So anything relatable works. Yeah. So that kind
Okay.
of stuff works. Even jokes. Some people post jokes and they get away with it. I wouldn't personally really. Oh, actually, I posted a joke yesterday. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm not gonna talk
What
shit
was
about
it?
it. I made this. So everybody's always calling me Harry Potter. So I made this whole video where I was like, "Oh, guys, I'm so excited! With my first 100,000 I made in my company. I made my first rap video because all my friends know I wanted to be a rapper for the longest time. So I'm doing this whole talk, and then I'm like, okay, the clip is starting now." And then I took like some really old parody video of Harry Potter with some rapper, like some guy doing like a Harry Potter afterwards. Yeah.
Did it get engagement?
Actually, it was my worst post in the last year or something. I think it's my first post under 100 likes in like forever.
You
Yeah.
know, hit or miss occasionally, right? Like, but All right. So engagement, which is then, so you kind of have two sides of the next like helpful post, right? So you have the C-level people, and then you have kind of people who you want to champion your case to the
Yeah.
C-level. So you want to create useful content for both, or you think it's better to target kind of like the champion of your, or however you want to call it, the person that's going to push your idea to the C-level suite?
Yeah, I just try to get both. I think honestly, it's so hard to estimate what is going to be useful to whom, as long as you are talking about useful content within your sphere, within your industry, within the service you're actually providing. I think you're good.
So any tips for making like useful shit? Like is it like list posts of stuff that work well there, or just talking about it, or how do you approach that?
Well, so I do a lot of consulting, right? So I get in front of people. I ask them, okay, what's going on? I do like an audit of their company, whatever. Figure out what their problems are. Then I figure out solutions. When the strategy is there, I'll get my agency to actually perform the service for them. And a lot of my inspiration comes from there, from seeing what are the problems that my actual avatar has, and then I'll use because like yeah, like I can talk about my issues, and I can talk about what's hard in my marketing, but a lot of the times if you're a little bit more advanced, you're not having the same problems as other people. So they're actually talking with your target avatar with or people who closely resemble it, it's going to be really great inspiration for useful content. Also, if you just figure something like sometimes there's problems that everybody in your industry has and nobody really figured out, right? Like for example, so I figured out it's networking on LinkedIn is hard because there's so many people and it's hard to keep track of what everybody's problem is. So then I talked to Lila Smith, and she makes like a spreadsheet where she writes down, okay, this person is an expert in this, it's interested in that, and he's trying to learn this. So if you have those three things, then it's super easy to tag people in other people's posts because you can just look in your Google Sheets and figure out what people's like who to tag where, and that's how you can be a proper networker.
Damn.
Everybody has this problem that they have
Wait,
no idea who's like responding to them. Everybody has this problem, they have no idea who's this person in their feed. Lila Smith, she figured out you can just put them in a sheet. That's how you keep track of everybody. So if you figure out a solution like this to a problem everybody has, that's always going to be useful.
so say those three things again. What does she tag?
So what are you an expert in? What are you learning currently, and what are you interested in? And I think those are good. Honestly, I think I have a hard time figuring out a better thing to track. Oh, I also track if there are possible leads, if there are possibly a good person to collaborate with me. Those I also track. Oh, and location.
Why location?
Because a lot of people promote their LinkedIn local, for example. So they're like, oh, I'm doing LinkedIn local Dublin. And I can be like, oh shit, this random person I connected with 2 years ago, they are from Dublin. I tag them. They're like, holy shit, how does this guy know who I am? He must really care.
Dude, I have no idea about LinkedIn Local. Is it,
Yeah,
have you
never.
got,
I've been to one in Sweden. It was cool. And I want to do my own. But yeah, do you have any specific questions about it? Because I'm also not super familiar.
no, because I mean, I guess if you haven't done it yet, but yeah, you'll have to let us know if you actually get good connections and leads from that. Be interesting, right?
I'm sure I will. I'm 100% sure I will because it's like what you're familiar with Gilles Leclerc, right? When I was at this house, he told me like, look, nothing beats this face to face. Nothing beats it. And when I was listening
It's true.
to Vin Clancy, he said the same thing. He's like, look, I'm getting a lot of leads from the group. I'm getting a lot of leads from my email, but I'm getting most leads from events, most leads from public speaking. So it's always good to get people in front of your face.
Yeah. No, it's true. I mean, that's the thing, right? Like best selling in person, next best, probably like something like this, like, and then so on. Um, so, okay, cool. So I think overall, I'm with you with all the different types of content and people that, are there any,
Wait, is there
yeah,
anything you're disagreeing with? Because you said overall. If there's any, I would love to hear if I'm wrong about something.
No, I don't. Let me think about that. Shit. No, I think I'm with you with how your approach to it. I'm just trying to think. Is there at any point like where? How do these people? How does this translate into leads for you, though?
So 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 there's it's a really good question actually. So there's two ways, right? First of all, you optimize your profile to make it easy for people to get in contact with you or to get them on a qualification form so you know if they're a good fit for your company or not. So profile optimization is one. The second one is actually making a post like, hey, yo guys, I'm giving this away. Yo guys, I'm doing this service. All you have to do is click on this link. Those are the two ways I'm familiar with. So no, actually, sorry, wrong. Three ways. Third way is messaging people. So that could be cold messaging, could be warm messaging, like if they already know who you are. So there's three ways to turn that into business. The thing is, it's very easy to forget once you get in the content creation groove. Like you could be, like I see it every day. Like people that are posting every day, they're like, Staffo, thanks so much. I'm having great engagement now. Everybody loves me. No. I'm like, okay, so how's business? I'm not getting any new clients.
Yeah.
Like something's wrong there, and I'm like, okay, so these people that are engaging with you, have you tried? You messaged them, asking them if they're interested in something. Have you made an effort to create a profile that turns that into calls or meetings or just a qualification form or whatever? And usually they'll say, no, I didn't want to sell because I didn't want to like cash in on my goodwill too early. And that's that, and I know where that comes from because that's what Gary Vee is saying, right? Gary Vee is saying like, give, and then that at the end you give the right hook, right? But he's not doing his right hook so much because he has his whole agency where he's making money, right? So a lot of people they don't really understand what the right hook is about. And the right hook is about like actually making an offer, putting it out there, actually messaging people like, yo, what up? Are you interested? I got the sweet shit for you. Get in my funnel, you know.
Dude, so from the content, like you get people that engage and maybe you're tracking them so you think like, okay, they're a good lead for me. So then do you message that person directly or how do you make sure you get your offer in front of that person? Like how do you transition from content to more of
Well, I'll be perfectly honest with you. I don't do any of that because I'm getting a little bit too much inbound for me to do any outbound. So back before those LinkedIn people put
no, that's okay. Basically, you don't fucking need to at this point, is what you're saying.
that's right. Yeah, so those motherfuckers, they changed the profile. So because I made this so my Calendly link was on top, and people would schedule meetings with me all the time, and I was doing 5 to 15 calls every week, just from people viewing my profile and booking a call. But now they changed the layout, so I have to figure something else out. So that's what I've been doing all day, like trying to figure out the new profile and hack it. But yeah, I haven't really had to do it. So let's say we don't have enough business, we're not creating enough revenue, and we also have the capacity to perform the service that we want to perform. Those are like the prerequisites. Is that correct? Yeah. Then what I would do is I would first of all make a post, be like, yo guys, like you're super lucky. One of my clients just died, and I have a room for one more client. So if anybody's interested in actually making a shit ton of money on LinkedIn, you can drop a comment below, and then I'll take on some applications, and I'll see if any of you is ready to work with us, right? And then I would start out with a post. If that wouldn't work, I would do a search within my contacts to see who would be relevant people. So I would do Open Sales Navigator. I would type in the parameters I need for potential clients. I'll just tell one of my employees, like, okay, we're going to message all of these people. We're going to message them this. We're going to put them on our qualification form. So that would be my, I think, second way. So yeah, make a post would be my first, and the second one would be to message my warm leads.
So no, I like it. That makes sense to me. I mean, how else are you going to do it, right? But so in your post, when you how I guess my question is how promotional are you? Because you said some people are like, oh, I don't want to give the right hook. I don't want to. So like that message that you're selling in, how hard do you sell?
I don't really like. I actually don't really.
No, I know
I just
you
do
don't,
that
but
a
like
lot
before when you
because
were doing it, did you, or is it just like, hey, I'm doing this, or like kind of professional update type thing, or
so okay. So in a hypothetical situation where I had to do it, I would first send them a message with some kind of value. So some kind of value related to what I do. So maybe like a PDF about a hack, maybe like an update about a new algorithm thing or whatever. They respond with, oh, okay, thank you. And then I would just say, oh, PS, this is the service I provide. If you're interested, just let me know. And that, because of the scale, that's enough. It would be
okay.
enough for us.
So,
If I had to, we would go be like, okay, I will help you with whatever issue you have related to this topic for free. Just book a
but
call here, and then that would be another way.
well, dude, it sounds like you never did that though, right?
No, I didn't. Not for
So
my own accounts.
yeah. So what did you do for your own accounts? Just what you told us, like engagement and helpful, and that was enough to drive a lot of inbound.
Yeah, but I was lucky to. I had a lot of luck in the beginning where some really major influencers I became friends with them. So I had like a really high engagement really early on, and also I was getting a lot of leads from my Facebook group. But for clients, what we do is we send messages that are like valuable, like funny or nice or whatever, and then we just add a little PS. Oh, PS, this is what I do. Shouts, or if you want some more info, and they're like, okay, yeah, we want some more info. Then we're like, okay, so here's a PDF, so you can get the like an overview, or maybe I'll be like, okay, I can, like if they're properly qualified, we'll be like, okay, I'll just jump on a call with you. You can book a call here, and then they get in a funnel like this. Or I make like what we call side product marketing, where we make like little tests, like oh, for one of our clients, what we're doing is we're making like a little game where people can see how much time they could save with having custom software to automate a lot of their things. So they just play the game, have some software on the back end scoring the leads. People that could be good leads to get an email, be like, hey, let me help you out for free. It's your boy.
So, but are you promoting that on LinkedIn?
We will, yeah, when it's finished.
So what's going to be the strategy behind that campaign on LinkedIn?
Well, yeah, it's gonna be okay, I'll tell you. Probably I shouldn't, but I'm not dropping any.
Okay.
So I will start out with like, man, most companies, man, they're not doing a good job with automation. I like some. Then I'll drop some statistics. Like people are wasting 10,000 man hours per year doing some manual data entry. Like this is costing the economy this much money, and then the next post will be something like, look, people who automate, turns out they are making this much more money, they're saving this much time. But next post is going to be like, hey guys, you want to figure out how fucked you are? We made this little test to see how much time you're wasting, how much money you're
Yeah.
wasting with your custom software. Then they're gonna be they're like scared out of their minds because they've been thinking about like losing money and losing time all week because they don't have their custom automation software. And then they do the test, and the test is like,
Yeah.
it's not, that's not looking too good. And then
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, it's be a boy. I'm here to help you out. That's basically the strategy.
Dude, so how many people do you think will actually see all three of those posts, or like even if you do more, like how many people will see the.
Depends on the accounts. There's no if it was my accounts, there would probably be an overlap of 5,000 people or something. But I can't say for other accounts. Depends. Like if
Right.
you get an average of 100 views, maybe maybe one third of those. But I don't have any statistics on that.
So each one of those really has to be like standalone, right? Like you can't really tell the
Yeah,
story
yeah. The
across
way
posts, right?
the way I presented it now, I would only push the little testing in the end. But now that you mention it, I would probably push it every time.
Okay.
Once every so many months.
So Not to switch topics too much, but since you brought up automation, what's your take on LinkedIn automation stuff? I know it's technically against the rules, most of it, but
Yeah, I don't care.
yeah, exactly. Like,
Yeah. So do you want to go more specific on what my thoughts are on which part of it, like how well it works, like should you do it, what's the psychology behind it? Like talk about all of those. I don't want to be like all over the
yeah,
place.
yeah, no, whatever your thoughts are. I guess first question is one, like, is it effective and should you think about doing it?
Well, it's very specific. It depends a lot on the scenario. But
But
I'll give you
I
an
guess in your experience, right? Like, have you done
yeah. So I've done it highly targeted. So I'll give you like a super specific example.
it? Yeah.
I made I made a post about something, and I'd be like, look, if you comment on this, I'll send you this guide for free. Then I would use linked helper or friend of us or whatever, scrape everybody who commented on it. Then I will just send all of those a message with whatever it is I'm giving away. Or before, I don't know if this still works. Let's say you make a search with Sales Navigator or um, find out leads.
Yeah.
You make a search for specific people, then you send all of those like a message, like with you like basically like trying to sell whatever it is yourself. That works really well. Now, my homeboy Angelo Sorbello, I think you
Yeah,
know
yeah,
him.
no, Angela.
Yeah, Angelo is awesome. He figured out that LinkedIn is actually scanning for plugins. So they actually scan if you're using these kind of automation tools. And one of the ways they punish you is like they kick you out of the platform a lot. That happened to me back in the day where I would just they would forcefully log me out all the time.
Hmm.
But another thing they might do is according to a lot of people, is they might shadow ban you so people don't see your posts anymore. So that's why I don't use any automation on my personal account anymore, because it's mine is like a content inbound
Yeah.
account. If I was running, let's say for Sunny, for example, who's more behind the scenes, we might run more of an outbound approach. So then we would think of using automation, although we have an employee doing all these things manually now, so we don't need to. I mean, I wouldn't do it for clients either. That like, let's say your team, you have somebody they're not so much on LinkedIn. You're like, can I use your account to run some automation? Because we know we can send 70 messages a day. That would be a good strategy for you to do. If you would ask me, Staffo, can you help me with my LinkedIn? Can you do some outreach? That would be happening manually. If you're posting contents, I would suggest doing it manually or using a less used account for the outreach.
Yeah. Okay. That's fair. I mean, fucking getting shadow banned would be terrible. And
Yeah,
then you keep making content and nobody sees it and you probably don't realize.
I'll tell you that it's not confirmed though. I have not seen anybody like actually like showing me like, look, stuff
Here's what
this is
happened.
happening. I haven't seen that, so I'm not gonna say 100% sure that's what's happening. But a lot of people that I like keep in high esteem, they say so. So I'm not gonna be a dick about it and say it's not true. I just don't know.
So yeah, so anything like even like auto visiting profiles or auto trying to connect, any of that stuff you stay away from.
Personally, yes. But I would like, let's say we have let's say we're behind on we need to make some more revenue, or and one of my employees they're not super concerned about their personal LinkedIn profile, I might do it if I had to. So I'm not against it, because what I believe in is I believe in real conversation. I believe in making real connections. I believe in this talking basically face to face. That's what I believe in. I don't believe in wasting hours of your time manually writing the same message to people when only 60% of them is going to reply. Because then you're losing potential conversation because you're saying hello to a bunch of people that don't even care. So I would rather automate the hello so I can focus on the conversation.
Yeah, dude, I'm with you. I think that automation done the right way makes a whole lot of sense. Like it's supposed to just make conversations easier to make them happen facilitate that. But I don't think a lot of people use it that way. So I get why LinkedIn cracks
Yeah.
down. But all right, well, cool. Automation. So I do have one more question about like content, right? So you talked about let's create these different types of content, but I feel like at least in marketing, like a lot of people are kind of taking a similar approach to LinkedIn. Is there anything you do in your messaging or your content that to make it stand out from other people?
Honestly, like I feel like I give a little bit less fucks than other people. I'll say, it's your boy, or I'll say, I'll use like my
Like super
dirty
casual?
millennial. Yeah, I'll use my dirty millennial slang, and I'll tell people exactly what I think about stuff. Actually, really funny. One time I used the word "fuck" in a post. I had like 7 Bible nuts people like
Nah.
threatening me and like threatening me and stuff. And then I was trolling them super hard, and then they blocked me instead of me blocking them because they couldn't handle my trolling anymore. So yeah, that one is big one, and I would say really focusing on not just broadcasting and actually being in the conversation as much as you can is a really big differentiator from like let's say that the biggest names in our space, if you go look in their comment feeds, they're not really responding to anything.
Okay. So that's what you mean by like, so when people engage with your post, make sure to respond back. Is there anything you do in your post to try to get that engagement particularly, or it just happens?
Well, it's a lot of it is in the structure of the post. So you really need to understand what things are for. So let's say the first line is meant to draw attention, first of all, and second of all, it is meant to get people to the second line. The second line is meant purely to get people to the third line, and it goes all the way like this to till the call to action. And that is, and you'll hear everybody like this is not something that I made up or this like super smart or something, but it is something that I'm actually doing and not just talking. So it's really, really important that every line sets up the next line. So you have 1,300 characters. That's not very much. If somebody gets bored halfway through a 1,300 character post, fucked up. And you're laughing, but try read a lot of posts on LinkedIn. You'll get bored halfway through. You don't care. So focus on making every line interesting or funny or helpful, and a little bit of mystery or a little bit of information missing, so they have to read the last line. And then the last line is going to be your call to action. And most of people think of call to actions as like selling something, or call to action. This could be about promoting something. Or and that is true in some posts, but a lot of time your call to action is just like, I want you to spend a tiny little bit of energy to engage with me. I want you to spend a tiny bit of your energy to have a conversation, and I promise it will be worth your while. Like that's why those posts that are like, okay, tag somebody who's helped you, tag somebody who could help me with this, tag somebody who's awesome at this. Those work because it's a little bit of effort to do, but you create goodwill from two people. You create goodwill from the person who made the post. You create goodwill from the people you tagged. This builds relationships, put you higher up in the social hierarchy. So that little bit of energy they spent gets back to them, and that is what your call to action is supposed to do. You get them to take a little bit of action that is actually going to improve their life later on, and that's something I think a lot of people are missing, and one of the reasons my content is doing fairly well on LinkedIn.
So is that one of your kind of go-to calls to action, like tag somebody who?
No, I'll play more of the cards that I'm valuing their opinion, and I actually want to know what they're thinking.
So at the end of it, you're just like, what's your thought on, do you tag people there anyhow? Like, what's your thought on actually mentioning people in the post?
If people that I don't personally know that tag me, I have a pretty high. No, I'm going to rephrase that. I think it's nice when people tag me, and I will always engage as much as possible with those posts. If I feel they're tagging me to either help me or because they actually want my opinion.
Yeah.
I like those.
Yeah.
Those are fine. I hate people tagging me because they think they will get more reach, and I usually and those people might get like deleted. But most people tagging me these days, they actually want to like hear what I have to say, and then I really appreciate that, and I hope people keep doing that. And if any of you guys have any questions about marketing or something, tag me in your posts, and I'll most likely be there to respond to your question.
Except when you ban them. No, I'm just kidding. But I'm
That's
with you.
very rare. But there was one person, and they would just like type. They would tag like 50 people, and I told them like stop tagging me. They would do it again, or like stop tagging me. They would do it again. Then I banned them. But don't be afraid to tag me. Like 99% of the time, that's really nice thing to do. But I don't tag people in my post unless it's very specifically related to them.
Right. No, I get that. I do you think it generally gives posts a boost, or why don't you do it? It's just not your style.
I just think it's a little bit of a dick move. Like I just like if you're just doing it for engagement, I don't. I just think like
Well,
you
dude,
should
that's
earn
why most
it.
people are doing it, right? Like in the end, because we're talking about posts to get engagement. And like, what's your thought on it?
I
Like,
think you should earn your engagement. Like honestly, if your content is good, there will be engagement over time if you keep putting out good content. And if your content is bad, you shouldn't get engagement because people have very little time. People are very busy. They don't need to see some bullshit post about nothing.
so when you sit down to write a post, like, do you use any tools, or like, how do you think
Yes.
about? Yeah, what do you do?
So in an ideal world, I would have a picture of my target avatar, which I don't usually do, but that's like the best thing you could do is have like a clear picture of who you're talking to. So that would be the first tool that I would recommend, but that I don't actually do most of the time. My second tool is the Hemingway app, which shows you if your language is too complicated, or shows you like what grade level your writing is on. I would always go for fourth grade writing.
No
Uh,
shit. Fourth grade.
yeah, yeah, because there's a lot of studies about this. People actually think that easier to read articles are written by smarter people, and the more complicated it is, the lower the chance that people actually will read all the way through. And then my third app is Grammarly, because like yeah, obvious reasons. Actually, I'm actually a little bit dyslexic as well, so I have some trouble with some of the words because I get them from reading, not from hearing them. So yeah, Grammarly, obviously. And if you're familiar with Arthur Killian, he actually made it. He's actually I don't know if he's still working on it, but he was working on a tool that uses AI to recognize like the emotional triggers in your posts. That was very interesting as well, but I haven't used it anymore because it was crashing my phone.
That would be sweet. Because I was thinking about this the other day too. Because I just wrote like a really big blog post, and I looked over it, like certain sections. I'm like, this is fucking boring. Like I didn't even want to read my own shit, and like part of it was making sure that things were moving in terms of like using stronger action verbs and all of that. So I found that like none of those tools really help with that, but reading it from that perspective helped me. Sentence structure even. So I don't know, but the new AI stuff is very interesting to me.
Yeah, and reading your posts out loud, that's a big one. I got that from Charlie Price, and I think it's one of the best tips I've ever gotten on copywriting. And like, I would say that reading Jungian psychology and in-depth psychology is a tool that I've used a lot, but I wouldn't say like, yeah, go read some in-depth psychology to prepare for a LinkedIn post. That might be a little bit far-fetched if it's not like your job to create content.
Have you ever just tried speaking a post out loud, like using,
Oh,
but like to write it, like using you can do it with a couple different apps, like
yeah.
Dragon Naturally Speaking, or like even Google Sheets or Docs.
I
No.
haven't tried that, but I use YouTube to transcribe my videos, so I do see my speaking and writing, and it's very weird.
Okay. I was just wondering. I've tried it. It's
Yeah.
not too bad sometimes. Like if you want to be very conversational. So that's one thing. Like even for your clients, are you super conversational and laid back, or does it depend on the brand?
Yeah. No, I don't. I'm always like this. It was really funny because I was talking with the agency we're a part of, Tulane, and they were like, okay, guys, I want every one of you to pick out 5 dream brands that you really want to work with. And I'm like sitting here, and Sonny's like sitting next to me. Look at me, and I'm like, man, I just realized I don't give a fuck about brands. And then, yeah, I don't give a fuck about brands either. And then we're like, yeah, we don't give a fuck about brands. We just want to work with cool people. And then we just made a list of cool people that we want to work with.
So sweet. So I guess one last question from me, man, especially because my beer is gone. So
yeah, mine too.
So how do you think, like for LinkedIn, how do you work that into any other strategies? Because you talked a little bit about like Facebook, a little bit about other stuff that you do. Like, do you try to get those to overlap, or what's your overall approach to it?
Yeah, you didn't ask me about my bot strategies, because actually I have a lot of good bot strategies too.
Well, hey, well, I still have time.
Yeah, but my beer is out, man. Yeah, well, like, so I'll tell you what I did before and how I changed a little bit. So if anybody here, if there's like a tiny chance that some people have listened to my podcast with Scott Davis, who's like an actual marketing professor, I was talking about how so nobody opens emails, or less and less people open emails. So a lot of times you have to hit them on social media, but then if the social media decides to fuck you, then you fucked, right? So I'm very big believer in diversifying your assets. So you want to have people both on LinkedIn and Facebook and on a bot and on Instagram, and some possibly less GDPR friendly ways you can put them in there as well. Because you don't want to you don't want to lose these people you build relationships with, right? I'm sure you agree with that. So I always get people from my LinkedIn to my Facebook group. I'm always doing this because I have much higher organic reach on LinkedIn than I have on Facebook groups, but I know it's not gonna last. So so I have my weekly show, and then I'll post clips of them on LinkedIn, and then I'll link people to my Facebook group. But here's what I'm doing, something that a lot of people are not doing. So when people want to join my group, they get like these questions, right?
Yep.
So my first question is, enter the entry codes if you want to be allowed to join my group. Okay, so and if you want the entry code, you gotta have to go to this link. So they go to this link. They have my messenger pop up. It's like, hey, yo, what's up? It's your boy Stuff Things with AK Potter. Here's your entry code. You can go fill in the questions. So everybody that I get from LinkedIn over to Facebook is also going to be my bot. So I have them in 3 places. So if Facebook decides to totally fuck me, then then LinkedIn might want to fuck me later on, I'm going to have at least a month to figure shit out. While if I only had them on LinkedIn, they fuck you, it's dead.
Dude, I like the secret code a lot. Did you see what Nike did with their augmented reality kind of experience in Messenger?
What do you do?
Look up sneakers, SNKRS, in Messenger when you get a chance. And you have to do it on your phone, right? But and actually I think I may have to send you the special code. So like they were promoting a specific sneaker.
Yeah.
That like super limited run of it. So you had to go sign up to their Messenger app. You had to have a special code just to like get in and have the sneaker shown. And it shows in your room. You have to have an account. So it's like super like VIP experience, like secret code type thing. So I dig it. I like it.
That's good.
And fucking smart to get them like on your email too. Because I don't think you can go all in on one.
Yeah. Now you spill some of your secrets. How do you integrate bots with LinkedIn and your Facebook group and stuff? Do you have any tricks?
Dude, I mean, no, not so much tricks, but I like to do content specific. So I do share content across channels, right? So we probably all do promote things and get more engagement, but I like to do kind of special or specific things that you can only get here, right? So people who sign up for my messenger list, they're the only ones that are going to get this article.
Yeah.
So And you can even push that cross channel, right? So like on your email list, you're like, oh, and here's the secret code in my messenger bot to get
Yeah.
XYZ. So just like you're talking about, because I feel like it's hard to get people sometimes from one channel to the other.
Yeah. Yeah, I did something like that. So I made like an entire course about LinkedIn with like all of my secrets at that point in time, and the only way to get my lessons was on my bots, because I would send out the lessons a couple of times a week. So that was a little bit similar.
Other than that, man, just like different calls to action. So like in the bot, for example, like I'll push out content and things like that on a regular basis.
Yeah.
But occasionally the call to action is, essentially like join my LinkedIn, or like, whatever it is, like this on Twitter, or whatever I want them to do. That's not a purchase or anything like that. So trying to just kind of have them. But the big one, right, for everybody, I think, is also just email list, because at least that's an owned asset.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, do you do much email, or is it mainly social?
No, that's like my biggest shame as a marketer. I don't even have one.
I mean,
I would never recommend anybody else to do it. But I just haven't done it yet. But then at the same time, like we're on LinkedIn, we're on Instagram, we're on Facebook, we're on YouTube now too. We have the messenger bots. At least we've diversified.
yes.
But stupid still. Like we should get an email list, and we will, but
Like,
we don't have.
Not a month ago, Facebook fucked a lot of people with, holding back on approving apps and all of that. And
I remember.
I guess that's my one tip for you, dude. Start collecting emails inside your bot, because it's real easy to do.
Yeah, I know, with the Zapier integration and stuff. Yeah, like but now with the fucking GDPR, man, like I don't even like now I gotta go ask somebody like, oh, how am I supposed to do this? What am I supposed to do? But at the same time, I'm in Bulgaria, nobody's gonna sue me. But still,
Yeah, probably not.
I still have to play within the rules, like it's not anarchy.
That's real interesting, actually. I hadn't thought about that. And since I'm in the US, like it affects me, but doesn't affect me.
Yeah. Okay.
So I wonder what you have to put in. Like probably just some acknowledgement before they enter their email address.
Yeah. You need to have the double opt-in now, I think. And you need to tell people where you got their information from. But it's like Charlie Price wrote on his Facebook today, it's like, people that need to worry about this more is like this huge car dealership with like the biggest car rental company in UK hasn't done their GDPR stuff. Like all these big ass companies haven't done it, and they should be worried about this. Like, I'm not us on the same level as them.
No, I don't think so either. But by the way, for anybody listening, not legal advice, any of this.
No, you should definitely not listen to me about legal
there
stuff.
you go. We don't know what the fuck we're talking about that.
Yeah, like social media stuff, like maybe, but not the legal stuff.
Dude, anything else, like parting words of Staffo wisdom from for LinkedIn, if content, anything, or we covered a lot?
Yeah, we totally did. But I'll tell you this though, and I'm just gonna make it into like a one-liner, and I'm not even gonna explain it. If you like want to understand what I mean with this, just hit me up in my Facebook group or hit me up on LinkedIn. I'll gladly explain it. I'll even make like a specific video for whoever asks me to explain what I'm talking about. But start looking at your own comments as content. That is a big one that nobody's talking about. So I'll leave you with that. Other than that, my group is called the Marketing Family. We run it like a family. Everybody's extremely welcome to be in there, and I would love to get to know more of the people who's actually watched this the whole way through. And I want to thank you so much for having me here. It was an honor being invited, and I really, really enjoyed talking to you. And I hope we should get on a call again soon.
Man, thank you so much. So so people can reach you, do you want to drop? Do you want to tell everybody like your Twitter or LinkedIn or anything like that so they can?
I don't have Twitter. I think it's lame.
I just started naming social shit. So
connect with me on LinkedIn, but send me a connection message, because if you don't do that, that's lame. So send me a connection message when you connect with me on LinkedIn, and just you can be my friend on Facebook if you want to. You'll probably see me tagged in this post and see me in the comments
All
as
right.
well.
Yeah, we'll just tag it all in the post. I'll be easier than you telling everybody. So
Yeah. I have a question for you, Nick. Like,
yeah.
are you happy with the talk? Do you feel like I hope I don't feel like I wasted your time or anything?
No, dude, I think I learned some stuff, and like the comment using your comments. I think the last line is very cool. I think also I was maybe approaching some of the content a little differently. Maybe I wasn't actually targeting because I think I was thinking more about just the C-level people and not targeting kind of the people that would champion the content. So I think that was very useful for me.
Yeah.
Um, but
Yeah,
yeah,
I learned a lot too. Like I thought it was interesting what you're saying about using different type of call to actions in the bot where you're actually doing the same thing but you're putting it in a different way. And also like you asking me questions helped me like understand what I was thinking beforehand. So that was extremely helpful for me as well. Really enjoyed this talk.
dude, thanks again. I'm gonna go ahead and stop recording.